Then I turned around. I looked up and saw 4 chariots going between 2 bronze mountains. Red horses were pulling the first chariot. Black horses were pulling the second chariot. White horses were pulling the third chariot, and horses with red spots were pulling the fourth chariot. I asked the angel who was talking with me, "Sir, what does this mean?" The angel said, "These are the 4 winds. They have just come from the Lord of the whole world. The black horses will go north, the red horses will go east, the white horses will go west, and the horses with red spots will go south." The red-spotted horses were anxious to go look at their part of the earth. So the angel told them, "Go walk through the earth." So they went walking through their part of the earth. Then he shouted at me and said, "Look, those horses that were going north finished their job in Babylon. They have calmed my spirit. I am not angry now." Then I received another message from the Lord. He said, "Heldai, Tobijah, and Jedaiah have come from the captives in Babylon. Get silver and gold from these men, and then go to the house of Josiah, son of Zephaniah. Use the silver and gold to make a crown. Put it on the head of the high priest, Joshua, son of Jehozadak. Then tell him this is what the Lord All-Powerful says. He will grow strong, and he will build the Lord's temple. He will build the Lord's temple, and he will receive the honor. He will sit on his throne and be the ruler, and a priest will stand by his throne. These 2 men will work together in peace. The crown will be kept in my temple, so that when people see it, they will remember Heldai, Tobijah, Jedaiah, and the kindness of Zephaniah's son Josiah. People living far away will come and build the Lord's temple. Then you will know for sure that the Lord All-Powerful sent me to you people. All these things will happen if you do what the Lord your God says." At that time, Tattenai was the governor of the area west of the Euphrates River. Tattenai, Shethar-Bozenai, and the men with them went to Zerubbabel, Jeshua, and the others who were building. Tattenai and the people with him asked Zerubbabel and the people with him, "Who gave you permission to rebuild the temple and repair it like new?" They also asked Zerubbabel, "What are the names of the men who are working on this building?" But God was watching over the Jewish leaders. The builders didn't have to stop working until a report could be sent to King Darius. They continued working until the king sent his answer back. Tattenai, the governor of the area west of the Euphrates River, Shethar-Bozenai, and the important people with them sent a letter to King Darius. This is a copy of that letter. To King Darius. Greetings. King Darius, you should know that we went to the province of Judah. We went to the temple of the great God. The people in Judah are building that temple with large stones. They are putting big wooden timbers in the walls. The work is being done with much care, and the people of Judah are working very hard. They are building very fast. It will soon be done. We asked their leaders some questions about the work they are doing. We asked them, "Who gave you permission to rebuild this temple and repair it like new?" We also asked for their names. We wanted to write down the names of their leaders so that you would know who they are. This is the answer they gave us. We are the servants of the God of heaven and earth. We are rebuilding the temple that a great king of Israel built and finished many years ago. But our ancestors made the God of heaven angry, so God gave our ancestors to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed this temple, and he forced the people to go to Babylon as prisoners. But in the first year that Cyrus was king of Babylon, King Cyrus gave a special order for God's temple to be rebuilt. And Cyrus brought out from his false god's temple in Babylon the gold and silver things that were taken from God's temple in the past. Nebuchadnezzar took them from the temple in Jerusalem and brought them to his false god's temple in Babylon. Then King Cyrus gave those gold and silver things to Sheshbazzar. Cyrus chose Sheshbazzar to be governor. Then Cyrus said to Sheshbazzar, "Take these gold and silver things and put them back in the temple in Jerusalem. rebuild God's temple in the same place it was in the past. So Sheshbazzar came and built the foundations of God's temple in Jerusalem. From that day until now, the work has continued, but it is not yet finished. Now, if it pleases the king, please search the official records of the king. See if it is true that King Cyrus gave an order to rebuild God's temple in Jerusalem. And then, sir, please send us a letter to let us know what you have decided to do about this. So King Darius gave an order to search the writings of the kings before him. The writings were kept in Babylon, in the same place the money was kept. A scroll was found in a fortress of Ecbatana. Ecbatana is in the province of Media. This is what was written on that scroll. Official note. During the first year that Cyrus was king, he gave an order about the temple of God in Jerusalem. The order said, "Let the temple of God be rebuilt. It will be a place to offer sacrifices. Let its foundations be built. The temple must be 60 cubits high and 60 cubits wide. Its wall will be in layers that have 3 rows of large stones and 1 row of wooden timbers. The cost of building the temple must be paid for from the king's treasury. Also, the gold and silver things from God's temple must be put back in their places. Nebuchadnezzar took them from the temple in Jerusalem and brought them to Babylon. They must be put back in God's temple. Now then, I, Darius, order you, Tattenai, governor of the area west of the Euphrates River, and Shethar-Balzanai, and all the officials living in that province, to stay away from Jerusalem. Don't bother the workers. Don't try to stop the work on this temple of God. Let the Jewish governor and the Jewish leaders rebuild it. Let them rebuild God's temple in the same place it was in the past. Now I give this order. You must do this for the Jewish leaders building God's temple. The cost of the building must be fully paid from the king's treasury. The money will come from the taxes collected from the provinces in the area west of the Euphrates River. Do these things quickly, so the work will not stop. Give them anything they need. If they need young bulls, rams, or male lambs for sacrifices to the God of heaven, give these things to them. If the priests of Jerusalem ask for wheat, salt, wine, and oil, give these things to them every day without fail. Give them to the Jewish priest, so that they may offer sacrifices that please the God of heaven. Give these things so that the priest may pray for me and my sons. Also, I give this order. If anyone changes this order, a wooden beam must be pulled from their house and pushed through their body. Then their house must be destroyed until it is only a pile of rocks. God put his name there in Jerusalem. May God defeat any king or other person who tries to change this order. If anyone tries to destroy this temple in Jerusalem, may God destroy that person. I, Darius, have ordered it. This order must be obeyed quickly and completely. So Tattenai, the governor of the area west of the Euphrates River, Shethar-Balzanai, and the men with them obeyed King Darius' order. They obeyed the order quickly and completely. So the Jewish leaders continued to build, encouraged by the preaching of Haggai the prophet and Zechariah son of Iddo. They had great success. Zechariah received a message from the Lord in the 4th year that Darius was the king of Persia. This was on the 4th day of the 9th month, Kislev. The people of Bethel sent Sherezer, Regem-Melech, and his men to ask the Lord a question. They went to the prophets and to the priests of the temple of the Lord All-Powerful. They asked them this question: For many years we have shown our sadness for the destruction of the temple. In the 5th month of each year, we have had a special time of crying and fasting. Should we continue to do this? I received this message from the Lord All-Powerful. Tell the priest and the other people in this country this: For 70 years you fasted and showed your sadness in the 5th month and in the 7th month. But was that fasting really for me? And when you ate and drank, was that for me? No, it was for your own good. The Lord used the earlier prophets to say the same thing long ago. That was when Jerusalem was still a rich city filled with people, and there were still people living in the surrounding towns, in the Negev, and in the western foothills. This is the Lord's message to Zechariah. This is what the Lord All-Powerful said. You must do what is right and fair. You must be kind and show mercy to each other. Don't hurt widows and orphans, strangers, or poor people. Don't even think of doing bad things to each other. But they refused to listen and refused to do what he wanted. They closed their ears so that they could not hear what God said. They were very stubborn and would not obey the law. The Lord All-Powerful used His Spirit and sent messages to His people through the prophets. But the people would not listen, so the Lord All-Powerful became very angry. So the Lord All-Powerful said, I called to them, and they did not answer. So now, if they call to me, I will not answer. I will bring the other nations against them like a storm. They didn't know those nations, but the country will be destroyed after those nations pass through. This pleasant country will be destroyed. This is a message from the Lord All-Powerful. The Lord All-Powerful says, I have a very strong love for Mount Zion. I love her so much that I became angry when she was not faithful to me. The Lord says, I have come back to Zion, and I am living in Jerusalem. Jerusalem will be called Faithful City. The mountain of the Lord All-Powerful will be called Holy Mountain. The Lord All-Powerful says, old men and women will again be seen in the public places in Jerusalem. People will live so long that they will need their walking sticks, and the city will be filled with children playing in the streets. The Lord All-Powerful says, the survivors will think it is wonderful, and so will I. The Lord All-Powerful says, look, I am rescuing my people from countries in the east and west. I will bring them back here, and they will live in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will be their good and faithful God. The Lord All-Powerful says, be strong. You people are hearing the same message today that the prophets gave when the Lord All-Powerful first laid the foundations to rebuild His temple. Before that time, people didn't have the money to hire workers or to rent animals, and it was not safe for people to come and go. There was no relief from all the troubles. I had turned everyone against their neighbor. But it is not like that now. It will not be like that for the survivors. This is what the Lord All-Powerful said. These people will plant in peace. Their grapevines will produce grapes. The land will give good crops, and the skies will give rain. I will give all these things to my people. People began using the names Israel and Judah in their curses. But I will save Israel and Judah, and their names will become a blessing. So don't be afraid. Be strong. The Lord All-Powerful says, your ancestors made me angry, so I decided to destroy them. I decided not to change my mind. This is what the Lord All-Powerful said. But now I have changed my mind, and in the same way, I have decided to be good to Jerusalem and to the people of Judah. So don't be afraid. But you must do this. Tell the truth to your neighbors. When you make decisions in your cities, be fair and do what is right. Do what brings peace. Don't make secret plans to hurt your neighbors. Don't make false promises. You must not enjoy doing these things, because I hate them. This is what the Lord said. I received this message from the Lord All-Powerful. The Lord All-Powerful says, you have special days of sadness and fasting in the 4th month, the 5th month, the 7th month, and the 10th month. These days of sadness must be changed into days of happiness. There will be good and happy festivals, and you must love truth and peace. The Lord All-Powerful says, in the future, people from many cities will come to Jerusalem. People from different cities will greet each other and say, we are going to worship the Lord All-Powerful. And the other person will say, I would like to go with you. Many people and many powerful nations will come to Jerusalem to find the Lord All-Powerful and to worship Him. The Lord All-Powerful says, at that time, many foreigners speaking different languages will come to a Jewish man, take hold of the hem of his robe, and ask, we heard that God is with you. Can we come with you to worship Him?